This is my heater. I dare you to hit it.
He'll be sorry.
Want the heater? I'll give it to you.
Basketball, maybe they don't hit it.
A swing and a drive to deep right.
Clear the deck. Cannonball coming.
Left field. It is out of here.
What up? What's good? Baseball Unstitched. We are back. And yeah, that's not Flax's face who's next to me this week. That's our boy Jackson Scudder. Flax out this week. His brother got married. Michael, congratulations on the marriage and the wedding. I heard everything went well, but we don't have Flax to ask about his weekend. So Jackson, how was the weekend?
Great weekend. Just got back home from college. Was in Nashville. Went to my buddy's wedding on Saturday.
Wedding as well.
Vibes are high. Vibes are high. Watching a lot of college baseball this weekend. A lot of college baseball. Vibes are high.
I bet you're in heaven right now, man. With all the college baseball going on. Oof.
Awesome. Loving it. Loving it.
Heck yeah. Well, look, we got a good one today for you guys, and we're going to be starting on a topic that's near and dear to Jackson's heart, and we're going to talk a little bit about some prospects that are currently still playing at the college level here moving towards Omaha, and then we're going to move into the debate that everybody's going to have for the next X amount of weeks, and that's what these all-star teams should look like. And Jackson and I, we agree sometimes, but not all the time, so we got to give you some parity, but we had some great topics to be our opening thoughts today. We were going to talk about Kyle Teel. We were going to talk about Jack Caglione. And then the Red Sox decided that Roman Anthony needed to be Boston Red Sox today.
Yeah.
So we probably got to start there. I'm excited about this one, Jackson. The kid's profile is outstanding. True five-tool looking player. Hit a 500-foot bomb last 2 days ago, I believe it was. One of the most matured approaches that I've seen at the minor league level in a long time. At 21 years old, he has truly, I think, earned this call-up.
Yeah, he's been pretty unreal, and it's been very interesting to see Red Sox having three top prospects. I don't think the plan was to bring them all up this year, but all three of them were basically like, you have to call me up, otherwise the fans are going to be rioting in the street. So it's going to be interesting to see how these three guys pan out playing together over the next couple of years and how the Red Sox go about extending them, maybe trading one of them. So, yeah, it's definitely going to be cool to watch.
Yeah, a lot of fun coming, and you mentioned it right there at the end of that statement is as much as nobody wants to talk about it, one of the most intriguing things about the big three right now with the Red Sox is roster construction. I get that we're excited to see what they do on the field, but it is a very, very rare occurrence when you bring up three essentially top 10 prospects in all of baseball in the same season. Kudos to the Red Sox for finding an extension very quickly with Christian Campbell to kind of take one of the question marks away, but there is a possibility where they will at some point in time, due to money, have to decide between Anthony and Meyer, and if they're lucky, they'll just sort it out on the field, but for the Red Sox sake, you probably don't want that because that means one of them's not playing as well as you thought.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be fascinating to see how they go about it, especially positionally right now, too. They kind of have a logjam all over the field. It's going to be interesting to see who they put where and how they adjust to that, especially if Casas comes back next year. It's going to be interesting to see where Casas goes in all this as well. So, interesting time to be a Boston fan, for sure.
Do we know, are they, and I saw them pull out the roster, and yeah, I try not to bring out the phone while we're recording this, but I think this is a really good question for us to talk about right now. Is he playing? He's going to play right tonight. How do you feel about that? Because I really thought they should have played him in left to start. I mean, if it goes over his head, it's hitting the wall. You know it's a bank shot.
I'm assuming he's been playing more right in the minors. I know he's mainly been a corner guy, so I'm guessing if he's playing more right in the minors, he's just comfortable out there. They're just giving him the spot. And I know a bunch of the minor league parks for the Red Sox are very similarly shaped to Fenway. So I'm guessing Anthony's already relatively comfortable with the big space to cover out there that Penske pulled down the line. So I'm guessing he knows how to play it all. Especially, spring training. I know the spring training sites are similar as well. So I think he's comfortable out there for sure.
Perfect. Well, we'll see how he does. A lot of ground to cover in right field for those of you who don't know that. That and center are a much more difficult play than left field may be in Fenway. Because, again, the ball's going over your head in left field in Fenway. It's either over that wall or it's off that wall. There's not a ton of running back and making a play right on it that occurs. So either way, Roman Anthony, we are maybe an hour away from his first at bat. Very excited. Can't wait to see what he does. But moving right along as always, and let's start with our first topic, and I'm excited about this one because this is where my boy Jackson Scudder shines. Jackson, MLB draft prospects to watch here in the Super Regional as we move towards the College World Series. Tell us a little bit more about your thoughts.
I went through and picked a couple guys from each team that has clinched a spot in Omaha. Duke and Murray State are playing in about 30 minutes. So I don't have anyone for those teams. Hopefully Murray State can pull it out. Big mid-major guys. Hopefully they can pull it out. But to start off, we're going to LSU. Cade Anderson's projected top 10 pick. This guy's 165 Ks in 100 innings. You also don't see 100 innings thrown in college a lot. Pretty unreal numbers from the lefty. And they got a loaded lineup, but I went through Daniel Dickinson and Jared Jones. Jared Jones is a big bopping first baseman, 20 bombs. Daniel Dickinson, middle infielder, 1-to-1 K to walk ratio. You don't see that a lot. Pretty unreal from the infielder.
And I'll tell you what, I love your choice on Cade Anderson because to me, there hasn't been enough play about what he's done this year from an overall standpoint. And the other day, you know, my Washington Nationals having the number 1 pick in this draft. There's been a couple different things that have been coming out about him potentially going at that number 1 spot. I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm backing that pick, but he has opened some eyes once you start to look into the data behind him and the numbers that he's put up this year. And again, anybody who's actually going to throw 100+ innings at the college level, that's not only impressive, but then to go out and strike 163 as well. Left-handed arm, again, when you're drafting, not really scared of a righty or lefty out of college. However, a lot of upside with Anderson, so I love that pick.
Yeah, absolutely. And then moving on to Oregon State, their lineup's been devastating all year. The main guy, he's been top of boards for the past 3 years, Avia Arquette, 1.124 OPS, 18 bombs from playing a pretty good shortstop as well. Mm-hmm. And the add-on Gavin Turley, an outfielder. He's about second, third, fourth round guy. Has 19 bombs, 1.119 OPS. That lineup has been devastating. They put up 14 runs last night against Florida State to go to Omaha. Pretty impressive lineup. They're definitely a fun combo to watch. And both of those guys, I believe, are going to be playing at the next level pretty soon.
Yeah, and listen, we've talked about Flax and I, and we've talked about on the podcast before. Arquette has one of the better packages for a shortstop in this upcoming draft, which is something I'm really excited for. But he boasts such a good size frame at shortstop as well that if he does move to third, one, he has the capability to do it because of his athleticism. But two, he does possess the raw pop to be a corner infielder at the major league level. It'll be real fun to see big league teams get their hands on him. And listen, I'm not saying he should stay because he's going to get drafted high enough and he won't, but Turley is also a junior. You've got a guy who's got so much more space to continue to grow, but has shown such a mature approach at the plate. Again, a lot of pop. We all know right now at the big league level, when you look at college guys, that amount of raw power and pop plays heavily into how high those guys get drafted anymore. It is very important to see big home run numbers because the thing is, not every double at the college level translates to a home run at the major league level. So having pop to all portions of the field like both of these guys have is super important.
Yeah, I think Turley staying is definitely an option for sure because he's going to be the feature of the lineup next year. It's Arquette this year. Maybe Turley goes back, he's the feature of the lineup. Maybe he wants to stick around another year. I could definitely see it.
Yeah. I mean, it could net him a much higher draft spot too. The tough thing is you have more leverage as a junior. Call it what it is anymore, right? So we'll see.
Moving on to Coastal Carolina, another mid-major hard. These are my guys. Caden Bodine, the catcher, he's been high on boards for a couple years now. Amazing defensive catcher, 466 on-base percentage, has twice as many walks as strikeouts. Very interesting profile from a catcher. Great bat-to-ball skills. Hasn't had amazing home run power, but I think he has it in there. I think maybe a minor swing adjustment a little bit could help him get some more pop in there. But the defense, the patience, the on-base percentage, he's a second, third round pick. Guy's an awesome catcher. Very fun to watch.
And, you know, this one definitely makes my day. When Flax hears it later, it's going to make his day because Bodine was one of the major guys who was on our guys to watch this year. There truly is not a better defensive catcher in all of college baseball than Bodine. And I'll die on that hill. he right now could be given to a major league staff, and the staff wouldn't have a word poor to say about the kid. I have been so impressed with what he does. And then to boot, you're right, it's a guy with less pop at the plate. But again, those matured at bats that he's taking that allow him to have an almost 500 on base percentage, it's really impressive. When Bodine is a 15 plus year major leaguer, whether he starts or is a backup, I won't be surprised. He already has the defensive skills to be a backup catcher at the major league level today. You don't get to say that very often.
Absolutely. I think that's a guy where the floor is low. If he can hit 220.
The floor is high.
Floor is high, yeah.
Gotcha.
If that's a guy that hits 220 with a 650 OPS, he plays 10 years in the big leagues. And that is not
totally
great offensive numbers. Not great offensive numbers. He's just that special defensively, and he still has the very high ceiling offensively.
I would agree. I love it. Great pick. Who we got for Arizona?
Arizona, we got Brendan Summerhill, an outfielder. He missed, I believe, the end of March into April a little bit with an injury. He's another guy similar to Bodine. 1-2 K to walk ratio, 477 on base percentage. Plays a good outfield. Obviously, he's another guy with a great approach. I think he's probably going to be around the third or fourth round. Could maybe sneak in the second, but he's another very fun bat to watch. So, yeah, he's another guy who could go pretty high.
I love it. He's one of those guys who showed an improvement throughout his college career at the plate. It's something that I look at that we can't. One of the biggest things that I find tough when we start talking about draft prospects, especially guys like me and you who are very analytical and numbers-related guys, I find myself on the opposite side of the hill of the inability to talk to these guys and really get to know them from a standpoint of how hard they work in the offseason. But it's not just about how hard they work, it's how they work in the offseason for me. And you look at a guy like Summerhill, and when I look at the progression that he's made statistically over his time in college, I'm very impressed with the consistent level of improvement. So he's the type of guy where if I had more time with him, I'd love to learn about what his offseason routine is and how he prepares himself for a season, which could elevate his status for me on a draft board.
For sure. Next up, we have one of my favorite players and the only guy I have watched live on this list, Louisville Friday ace Patrick Forbes. Now, for those of y'all who don't know...
You did get to watch him, huh?
Yeah. For those of y'all who don't know, I work for East Tennessee State Baseball. Travel with the team. We made a regional this year. Opening game. We're facing Louisville. The vibes are high. We're ready to go. Fourth pitch of the game, Patrick Forbes throws 100. And he was a very fun player to watch in person. There was a bunch of scouts there sitting around me watching him pitch. The slider's still not there, but this is a guy who has thrown 96, 97, 100 pitches into the game. He's got great stuff. The fastball is lively. I think he's probably going to be a second-round pick, maybe sneak into the comp round late in the first. But this is a guy, the fastball's up to 100. I think the floor is a reliever in the big leagues. He's just got great stuff and just needs to maybe add another secondary pitch in there.
And I love this conversation with you here today, and here's why. Because, I can only talk so much pitching with Flax, right? It's just no, I'm kidding. I can talk as much pitching as I want with Flax, but I love this conversation because I look at Forbes as a guy who, if I give him to the right analytical group, Forbes' ceiling goes from this to this.
Yeah.
And I say that from a standpoint of, I might be an analytical guy. I'm still not all about focusing only on those levels of metrics. However, throws 100, is around the zone with 100, and his secondary stuff is just from a professional perspective, not a college perspective. It's relatively average at the current moment. There's one thing I know that good analytical groups can do. Now it's how do we do this without hurting a guy, because we all know that becomes an issue at times. Absolutely. Is allow a guy to understand how to throw better things with high rates of spin. Somebody is going to grab this kid probably earlier than people expect because of that. This reminds me of, and I know he got drafted higher than Forbes probably will, but if you remember, first name's eluding me. Is it Ben Hess?
Ben Hess.
Yankees took him last year, 16th. Say again?
Yes.
Yeah, perfect, yes, right?
Alabama.
So, very, very similar situation with that guy. Listen, Forbes right now is throwing to the tune of a 4.36 in the ACC. You don't look at that production number and say, oh my God, that's a dude. You just don't. But I think Hess last year got drafted in the first round and had like a 5.2 ERA. Yeah, we do nowadays, because of the data we have, we're willing to look at guys for what their ceiling is. And I do totally agree with you that Forbes is the type of guy who you look at and say, God, the worst we're going to do with this guy is make him a good bullpen arm. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens moving forward.
Yeah, moving along, going to Arkansas, this team is stacked. This team is unreal. To start off,
So good, dude.
So good. To start off, we got the shortstop, Golden Spikes. I looked up how to pronounce his name. Vahiva Aloy. That's how I believe the pronunciation looks. Vahiva Aloy. This dude is unreal. Sacramento State guy early in his career, transferred over to Arkansas. 350, 20 bombs this year. Plays a great shortstop. This guy's unreal. Like, I think he's going to be a top 15, 20 pick. Amazing player to watch. Next up, left-handed pitcher Zach Root. Probably saw him on Twitter a day or two ago saying some choice words to Tennessee's dugout. Transfer from Eastern Carolina, lefty with a big curveball. 3.6 ERA, struck out 120 guys this year. And lastly is a little bit of a project guy, Gage Wood, a right-handed pitcher. Upper 90s fastball, struck out nearly 2 guys per inning pitched this year. Only threw 28 innings, but 50 strikeouts in those innings.
I love it. Listen, Vahiva Aloy is a dog.
A dog.
I don't know how else to put it. I got very little more to say on that. And I got my sources. I think somewhere in the top 20 is probably where we're going to see him go.
I agree.
Again, the other thing I want to bring up with him as a shortstop is he can stay there.
Yeah.
And that's not something that's very easy to do. And we're talking about a guy who can stay there that in the SEC put out 20 balls this year. Yeah, I don't know. Kind of interested myself. I've got to see him play multiple different games. He plays with his hair on fire 100% of the time. He brings energy to the group. And boy, is Arkansas happy that him and his brother decided that was where they wanted to go to play baseball.
Absolutely, absolutely. Finishing up, we got UCLA. The only team on here that did not have a player on the top 150 for the big board on MLB.com. I went with AJ Salgado, redshirt senior first baseman outfielder. He's hitting 313, 12 bombs, OPS over 1,000, has stolen 13 bags as well. I think this is a guy, like I said, redshirt senior. He's going to get drafted with those numbers on a team going to Omaha. I think he's probably going to be around the 4th to 7th, maybe 8th round guy. But I think he can play outfield. He can play a little first base. I really like the bat. I think he's a fun player to watch. They have a lot of younger guys who I really, really like. Some potential first-round picks down the line. But for this draft, Salgado is one of my favorite guys.
Yeah, and we're looking at a guy who, again, is a senior. The worst thing that's going to happen with him is he's going to get an opportunity on an unsigned contract. I would agree with you that his numbers state that somebody is just going to want to make sure they grab him. It's probably going to be in those later rounds. Again, you lose a lot of leverage as a senior, especially a redshirt senior in this scenario. But Salgado can absolutely rake, and UCLA needs it. Let's just call it what it is at the current moment. So, Jackson. Love it, dude. A lot of great players on this board. Nobody that I really had to talk about outside of it. Vahiva Aloy is my favorite, so thanks for bringing him up. And also, just for the sake of it, Vahiva Aloy and Avi Arquette, both Hawaii natives. Pretty cool.
Awesome.
Don't see that very often. We're talking about two guys in the first round. Should have stayed, dude. Should have stayed home. Been sick. Can you imagine?
Would have been sick. Would have been sick.
But you got to get out sometimes. I get it. All right. Well, we love the start here. Let's move on to what all of you will debate for the next couple of weeks with your friends and family, and that is who deserves to be on an all-star team. Because we all know that there's going to be at least 2 or 3 guys that all of you go, huh? Why is he there? And you know what? We're going to have fun talking about who we think's going to be there, because we'll be wrong in some way, shape, or form. And if we're very right, tell everybody you know. That's all I got to say. But let's roll right into who Jackson and I think should be all-stars, AL, NL. We're going to talk some pitching too, even though that's not a fan decision. But we're going to start at what is probably the hardest decision for Jackson and I to make, and that was the AL catcher. The AL All-Star catcher. Hardest decision of the week. Jackson, who could you have possibly picked as the starting AL catcher?
There was a bunch of guys I wanted to go with, but I had to go with the guy with 26 home runs and a 4.2 F4, and it's not even June 10th yet. So, yeah, Cal Raleigh's my guy. Cal Raleigh's my guy. Absolutely,
All right.
wasn't even a question about it.
I sorted through pages and pages and pages of Fangraphs and Baseball Savant, and I came to the same conclusion. Yeah, guys, I got to be honest. If we're not voting for Cal Raleigh to start this year in the All-Star game, I don't know that it matters to me what team you support. We've failed ourselves. And we talk about all the time how we want the right people in the All-Star game. Raleigh is on a tear that is only like reminiscent for me growing up of like Ubaldo Jimenez winning 20 games before the All-Star break. Dude, first off, dude signs an extension, okay? Everybody's like, bang, switch hitting catcher, platinum Gold Glove Award winner, we're rolling. And then somebody had the bright idea to hand this dude a torpedo bat, which for whatever reason is perfect for Cal Raleigh's swing. And he's slugging 655. All right.
Unreal.
It's craziness right now. I'm super excited. I don't know if you've got anything else on Raleigh. He's earned this wholeheartedly, no questions about it.
Absolutely. The 14% walk rate, I love that as well. I think that's, I believe, a bit higher than normal. But Riley's unreal. 26 home runs. If he doesn't hit another home run till the All-Star break, he's still an All-Star. That's all you need to know.
And literally should be, honestly, he could not play until the All-Star break, and he should still be the starting All-Star catcher.
Absolutely.
Either way, we don't want to bug the timeline with Cal Raleigh, but Cal's been a beast. Jackson, I'll go first here because this is our first disagreement, and I do love your pick. Let me be clear. I do love your pick. However, for first base, I've got to go one, Ryan O'Hearn. And Ryan O'Hearn has been on a heater for the Baltimore Orioles over the 54 games that he's got to play this year, slashing 316, 397, 500. His WOBA is 391, which is easily the highest of his career. He's no longer a platoon bat for him. He's playing every night against righties or lefties. I have been very excited to see what he's done, and the big piece for me of O'Hearn is his effect on that Orioles roster while they've been in this rut has been huge. I think O'Hearn has earned a nod here.
I agree. I have him as my DH, actually, so I'm not disagreeing with anything you're saying.
I like that. Oh, I didn't even see that. Okay.
So, yeah. I went with Jonathan Aranda,
yeah.
Yeah. The Rays first baseman, he's been awesome this year. The Rays have not been awesome. He's hitting 320, slugging nearly 500, 1.8 F WAR, 7 bombs, walking 11% of the time. I love the bat. He's been great this year for that Rays lineup.
And I'm the first person to say I want to see him swing the bat more against lefties. It doesn't bother me as much as others might be worried about it. Bat to ball skills are spectacular. I mean, we're talking about a guy who's got a 161 WRC plus and has been a staple when healthy for this Rays lineup, and he's really exploding onto the scene this year. I do believe this is a spot where we could have given it to a lot of guys. I love the pick for you of Aranda because I do think he's earned it. I mean, kidding me? I'd love to slash that line at the major league level. I don't know about you.
Yeah, absolutely. He's definitely been the guy to watch this year.
Second base. Where are we going with your second base pick?
There was a lot of options. This one made me think for a while. Before I start, Jazz Chisholm shout out. Only like 38 games played, but he's been awesome this year. But I ended up going with the guy who he replaced, Gleyber Torres. Goes to Detroit. They've been awesome this year. He's hitting 268, 5 bombs. The awesome part to look at, he is walking more than he is striking out. Gleyber has never been that guy in his career.
What?
He is walking more than he's striking out. Gleyber has never been known a guy to do that. He's been one of the better players on one of the better teams in baseball. So, yeah, he's the guy I'm looking at.
Jackson, my only question for you is he an above average defender or should we,
Slightly below average defender. As I said.
All right. I guess he is, since you told me so. I'm going to go a different route with this one. And for all of you who are confused why the Nationals guy is putting Orioles in a starting all-star lineup, it's just how it works sometimes, guys. I'm going to go with Jackson Holliday. After last year, when everybody was thinking that the 20-year-old coming up was supposed to like immediately hit at the major league level and he was a bust, Holliday has now hit 8 home runs this year. He's slashing 263, 316, 433. He's got a WOBA that's 20 points higher than last year's average. And they've stuck him in some big spots here of recent. He actually had a slow start to the year, but has been extremely good over the last 25, 30 games. Since Mancelino took over, he has been in the lineup every day against righties or lefties. He's continued to stay pace since this hot streak, and he has been an absolute spark plug in the leadoff spot for that Orioles roster. I know it's a team that not a ton of people have had the opportunity to watch more than likely with how well they've played this year, but I like Jackson Holliday at second base. Again, don't mind your pick over there with Gleyber Torres. Third base, not surprised we agree on this one. Would you like to tell everybody who should be the starting third baseman?
Yes, it was a little bit closer than I thought it was going to be, but it's Jose Ramirez. Jose Ramirez is having an awesome year. Hit 333, 558 slug, 12 homers, 11% strikeout rate, 8% walk rate, 3 F4. He's stealing bases. He's been one of the most fun players to watch in baseball the past 10 years. It's a pencil in at this point. He's your starting third baseman.
100%. And he's a pencil in for a Silver Slugger every year. It's just, it's what it's become because of what he does. Yes, I also did pick Jose Ramirez because, again, the guy just hits every year. Guys, I lived in Cleveland for 10 years. I've mentioned that many times on this podcast. I'd go to the ballpark and I would just simply know that Jose Ramirez was going to do something. I watched him hit 3 home runs in a game. I'm going to give the little honorable mention here, and it's a big one for baseball and Stitch because we were talking about this guy all offseason, and that's Alex Bregman. There is a good possibility that as much as we are talking about Jose Ramirez as a pencil in, if Bregman is not hurt over the last 10 games, one of us is taking Bregman here. Alex Bregman has resurged to those first 3 years that we saw at the MLB level, and I hope this continues for him. There's a lot that goes into it. Listen, our bus model that projects stats had him closer this year to his first 3 years on regression thought process. Bregman has been awesome, guys. In 51 games, he's hit 11 home runs, 35 RBIs. He's only striking out for him, which is a little bit lower than the last 2 seasons. It's at 18.6%, under a 20% strikeout rate, playing a very clean third base. Who would have thought it's Alex friggin' Bregman? I am very, very happy to see Bregman playing at the high level we know he can play at, and he does look rejuvenated in a Red Sox uniform from a holistic perspective.
Absolutely. Like, I sat there and thought about it for a little bit before I wrote down Ramirez. It was closer than people think it is. Like, if Alex Bregman has a good 2 weeks, he could very easily be starting in that All-Star game.
100%. He is nipping at the heels of a guy who should be there. Call it what it is. All right. This is the fun one. For the AL, this is the fun one. And I almost want to change my pick just because. But I'm not gonna. But we're going to talk about 3 dudes here. Because if we don't talk about 3 guys here, we've ruined this forever.
We have to.
So I'm going to put out 100%. It is. It is shortstops in the AL. Dear Lord, have a year. We love it. So I want to bring up the 3 major names. Bobby Witt Jr. Surprise. But the 2 other names are a little bit more surprising, to be completely honest with you. One, Jeremy Pena is just quietly demolishing baseballs for Houston. I love to see it because he was doing some of that when he came up, and it kind of simmered down because the league adjusted. And of course, son of friend of the podcast, Jacob Wilson, has to be talked about in this discussion because holy shit, I can't even say it nicely anymore. What he's doing as a rookie is unbelievable. But I did write down Bobby Witt Jr. I might regret that later because Jacob has been unreal. Who did you put down?
I went with Jeremy Pena. It was this took 15 minutes. This took me 15 minutes. For me, I went with Pena because he felt like the bridge between Witt and Wilson. Wilson has been unreal offensively. The base stealing and the defense hasn't been as good as the other two. Pena is hitting better than Witt, but he's also stolen some bases, and he's playing better defense than Wilson. I think Pena's been right there in between the both of them. I really like Pena this year. He's been awesome for the Astros team. 3.2 FWAR, 144 WRC plus, quietly 13 stolen bases as well. He's been awesome to watch. I went with Pena, but I think it could have been Witt, could have been Wilson. J.P. Crawford deserves a discussion. It's been a loaded year to be a shortstop in the AL.
I agree, and what's so funny as we sit here and talk about this is for everybody who has a chance to just kind of look at the statistics, Pena comes second in like everything.
Yeah.
Jackson is not like, that's not like a joke. Pena comes second in like all of the production metrics, and then it's Witt or Wilson at the top. It is, Pena is directly between both of them in just about everything. Shout out to Jacob Wilson anyways. What a dog. Hitting 372
I think he's going to be an
now.
all-star regardless.
Listen, if he's not to be fair, if the three names we just talked about are not somehow on the all-star roster as shortstops, we've failed. We've completely failed. Jacob Wilson is going to potentially be one of the first rookies to be over 200 hits since, like, what, Ichiro? If he continues this pace? I mean, mind-boggling what we're seeing out of AL shortstops. And by the way, they're all, like, under 27.
Yeah, unreal.
JP's a little bit older now, but you get the point.
The
Either way, shortstop. Good luck picking that one. Not going to judge you for your choice, but good luck.
Good luck.
Good luck, good luck. All right. Your first outfielder. I can't imagine who this is.
We picked three outfielders. We didn't do it by position, just three raw outfielders. Right. The first one, I think we both had, it's the guy hitting 390.
Who's that?
5+ FWAR. His name is Aaron Judge. He plays in New York. Decent little bat.
The decent little bat is the best part, talking about a guy who's like 6 foot a million. I love that so much. Listen, Judge came up again, so this is where I get to tell everybody my story is after he laughed at me, and in a nice way. After him and the entire bench, Gary Sanchez, Aaron Judge, his whole group, laughed at us for not being able to pull the tarp on at AA Akron after a rain delay. Judge hit a ball so far to dead center out of the stadium into a creek that I just thought the ball evaporated. So it turns out he's been doing that the whole time, and he's still in New York, and it doesn't change. He's the same guy every single day, and it's impressive because the other people I think of in that category, and he's a little bit older at this point now, is like a Mike Trout. It's the same guy every time he comes to the ballpark. As long as he's healthy, you know what you're getting. It's not a question.
I was talking with my dad about this, actually. I think he's been the best right-handed hitter I've ever seen. And, like, for me, I'm a Cardinals guy. Pujols had a couple years in there where it was unreal. But Judge has been right there with prime Pujols for me.
So he has to do it for a little bit longer.
The prime.
And then I'm willing to, like, yes, I agree. Now, if we take 7-year primes, which we're closing in on for both players, Judge is a lot closer to all these wonderful early 2000s right-handed bats than a lot of people probably want to admit.
Yeah.
He is, this year, to be fair to Judge, though, is another level. We've seen Judge do a lot of things. Hitting 390 is not one of them.
He has 5.7 FWAR. It's like, it's still June. It's not even...
Did you not include the 2 home runs he hit last night before you made the graphic? I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, his FWAR's gotten up like 0.5 since I made my graphic for it.
We could spend weeks talking about Aaron Judge, so we won't. Now, this is the fun part, because deciding to do it as just outfielders allows us to have a little bit of parity here. I have the resurgence of George Springer as one of my outfielders here. And I was super excited to write George Springer's name down because, frankly, when's the last time any of us wrote George Springer's name down for an all-star game since he was in Houston? Springer has really, really started to come back alive for them and play a high level of defense as well in the outfield for Toronto. He hit 19 home runs all of last year and hasn't been anywhere near the 30-plus home run performances we've seen in Houston. He's pacing it this year again with 10 home runs already through 61 games. The other thing that I'm seeing from him is his highest WOBA since he was in an Astros uniform. Or sorry, his second highest since he was in an Astros uniform. I'm really excited more than anything to see George Springer look like himself is really what this comes down to, and I think he's deserved a nod. I see the argument where maybe he's not a starter, but I'm calling him out anyways.
For me, my second spot, I got Steven Kwan. One of my favorite players in baseball the past couple years, plays a good defense, hitting over 300, a very similar profile to Jacob Wilson, swings the bat a lot, 1-to-1 K to walk ratio, 2.1 F4 this year. It's just Steven Kwan. I also really want to see a corner outfield duo of Steven Kwan and Aaron Judge because I feel like it just looks good on the eyes.
I want them to be in center and right, so they have to like hang out next to each other a ton.
Yeah,
that's what I want. But whatever, we can want. Look, man, love Kwan. You want to talk about a high level bat to ball guy who legitimately I've seen him maybe take 2 total bats in the entirety of his MLB career. Kwan is a machine. Does it every single day. Again, you know what you're getting out of him in the ballpark, but what we don't talk enough about Kwan, because we're going to talk a lot about offense here, Kwan is arguably, I'm going to say it, he's arguably the best defensive outfielder that we have in the corner outfield segment. And the reason why is, one, Kwan could easily be a center fielder, but the things that he does in the corner outfield that are just chess playing checkers are unreal. This guy consistently throws dekes at people that work. I don't know how to explain that to most people. We always love when we see a deke happen in big league baseball or college baseball, but Kwan has the ability to throw dekes that are just like day-to-day crap, right? And I'll give you an example. We did talk about it at one point in time on Twitter. Gunnar Henderson obliterates a ball to right field. There's a runner on second. You knew when Henderson hit it that ball was down the line in the corner no matter what. It wasn't a question. That's how well he hit it. When you watch the replay, Kwan is jogging off the rip and just looking up like it's a lazy fly ball that he could get. Picks up speed, picks up the ball. The guy on second saw him jog and doesn't score on the play. Guardians get out of it on the next play.
Yeah.
There's things that he does defensively that are not innate, and it is so impressive to literally watch him make it look like a chess match in the outfield. Very impressed. Love Kwan. Last outfield spot for me. Again, I like going a little bit off the map here. Give me a little Brent Rooker, baby. Brent's a dog. He just walks out there and hits bombs. I got nothing else. I mean, that's really why Brent's on my list. He just walks out there and hits bombs. Who you got, Jackson?
I'm a big Rooker guy. I went with Julio Rodriguez. Something has to be said about being able to play center field day in and day out. And Julio Rodriguez does it about as good as anyone. He's still hitting .250 this year. 10 home runs, has swiped 11 bags, WRC plus at 112, 2.2 F4. He plays an awesome defensive center field day in and day out and is still being a pretty decent hitter. So I went with J-Rod. Like I said, plays a great center field, and I think it has to say for something. Playing a great center field means more than playing a great right field or left field. Love J-Rod. Him playing center day in and day out did it for me.
Now, the real question here is, and everybody's been wondering this, Jackson, do you think J-Rod's been overhyped because he's such a beautiful person? You know, those eyes are just unreal.
I think we need a stat for that, like F attractiveness or something. Vagrant attractiveness.
They're gonna make that a attribute next year in MLB The Show My Player, so be ready.
Eyes plus.
Beautiful. We will come back to that stat one day. I cannot wait. It will come up again. All right. This is moving slower than I thought it would because Jackson and I are having too much fun here. Who you got at the DH spot? I think I know because I think you said it earlier.
Yeah, I got Ryan O'Hearn. You kind of said it all earlier. Dude's mashing, slugging 500, 9 bombs, 1.8 F-WAR. I loved him when he was in Kansas City. Fun bat to watch. Ryan O'Hearn.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the guy who didn't want to be a DH but is one. Rafi Devers, baby. Rafi Big Scoops. Turns out that after that first 2 weeks of the season, because I don't know, it turns out big league hitting's hard, or big league pitching's hard to hit when you get no spring training, really. Great, I know, mind-blowing, Jackson. He's hit 14 home runs all of a sudden. He's, I don't know, 6th in the league in WOBA. Yeah, pencil him in. Rafi Devers, the non-DH DH. I love it. We did have a little ad here for fun, and that would be if they had a starting utility man. Obviously, this is like the 6th man award in basketball. I love it. I got Dylan Moore because, I don't know, what all of you may not have realized is Dylan Moore literally can play every position on the field, and he's having one of his best offensive seasons of his career, and that has been huge for who else? The Seattle Mariners, who need as much offense as they can get in that ballpark. He's got a 324 WOBA right now, again, playing a bunch of positions and hitting for, in a short stint, the most power he's ever hit for with 8 home runs and only 50 games played.
Yeah, for me, I went with Zach McKinstry, Detroit. He's played second, short, third, left, and right this year. Hitting 272, 421 slug, 1.8 F-WAR. Plays a good defense at all the spots while being an above-average bat. Zach McKinstry.
Nice and easy. So there you go. Your AL All-Stars, and we'll give you the quick rundown. I have Cal Raleigh at catcher, Ryan O'Hearn at first, Jackson Holliday at second, Jose Ramirez at third, Bobby Witt Jr. At shortstop, and the outfield would be Aaron Judge, George Springer, Brent Rooker. DHing is, or not DHing, I guess, is Rafi Big Scoops, and my utility guy is Dylan Moore.
For me, Cal Raleigh catching, Jonathan Arianda first, Gleyber Torres at second, J. Ram at third, Jeremy Pena playing short, outfield at Judge, Quan, J-Rod, Ryan O'Hearn DHing, and Zach McKinstry, utility. I
love it. Let's run right into the NL All-Stars here. And again, we seem to have such a hot debate at catcher, me and you. I guess I'll go first this time. I got Will Smith. When you looked at the catchers on the NL side, made the most sense is really the easiest way to put it from a production perspective.
Yeah, I went with Will Smith as well, obviously. Hitting 320, 2.3 F-WAR, plays a good defense. 1-to-1 almost strikeout to walk ratio. 430 on base. It's Will Smith.
Yeah, I think as we move into first base, this was a spot where I think there was an argument for another person. That's just my opinion. We'll see what you thought about that. We did both, again, go with the same guy, and that's the literal ageless wonder, Freddie Freeman. Listen, he's second in all of the NL and WOBA at 422. The guy what is he? He's 30. He turns 36 this year? Yeah? Turns 36 this year. He is 345, 414, 586. He's hit 9 home runs. Again, second in baseball behind his all-world teammate Shohei Ohtani in WOBA. Hard not to give it to Freddie.
Absolutely. However,
the other guy on the list. Go ahead.
Pete Alonso. Yeah. Pete Alonso's my other guy. Yes.
This was tough. And why is this so tough, everybody? And here's why this is so tough. Because you can't slot Pete at DH. And we'll get to that discussion later. But there is a good argument to be stated that both Jackson and I are leaving the third best bat in all of the NL off of a starting all-star ballot. Not saying that's fair, but let's give Pete his cup of tea here. For everybody who thought defense mattered, that's what I thought, crickets. 17 home runs over 66 games, 61 RBIs. We're not even halfway through the year yet. Alonso has been an absolute force in that Mets lineup. And right now, while Juan Soto, who has heated up over the last 10 games, has not been the production, I know, at the production level people expected, Pete Alonso has been a friggin' force in that Mets lineup. Good for Pete. He's getting everything he deserves. 421 WOBA, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Fangraphs won't, he's second in XWOBA across all of the National League. Pete Alonso, hats off to you. Not trying to leave you off just to leave you off. Second base, Jackson. I already knew who you were going to pick. Go ahead, talk about him.
First, wanted to give the hats off to Ketel Marte. Also, under 40 games played, having an awesome year. He could very easily end up getting this. But I went with my boy Dottie Baseball, Brendan Donovan, the Cardinals guy, hitting .315 this year, 2.2 F4, only striking out 13% of the time. He's been an anchor in that lineup. First time in his career, he's really been playing the same position day in and day out. This is a guy who's played first, short, third. He's played the outfield spots. I'm a huge Brendan Donovan guy. That's that Cardinals devil magic right there. Love Brendan Donovan.
Listen, man, you guys got some type of devil magic going on. Because the fact that your group is playing as well as they're playing, I got nothing. All right, this is the one where everybody's going to eat me alive for, and I'm not upset about it. But that's okay. He got off to a little hotter of a start than he's been over the last X amount of games. I think we're going to continue to see him play better. But I got Bryce Terang at second. It's probably not the most popular pick, but Terang has been an excellent guy at the top of the lineup for Milwaukee this year. That's a young group that consistently needs a spark plug. He is a slightly above average hitter from a WOBA perspective, but he's a guy who could swipe 50 bags for you. Now, at the current moment, he has only swiped 15 bags, but his on-base percentage is a 347 because he's increased his walk rate from around that 8% range to an 11% range. Lately, what's been hurting his numbers has been the K. Terang was off to an absolute torrid start this year. I have a feeling in the next couple of weeks you're going to see him heat up again. And if he has 10 more stolen bases before the All-Star break, don't be surprised. I agree. It's probably egregious for both of us, and especially me, to leave off Ketel Marte. I'm going to do it, so roast me in the comments. That's all good. Third base, Jackson. Third base, we did agree on this one. We both had one Manny Machado. Tell the people why Manny's a dog.
I mean, same reason he's been a dog the past 10 years. Dude's unreal. Plays a great defensive third base, as we all know. 2.4 F4 this year. He's hitting .320. Not usually Manny Machado thing. 9 home runs, slugging over 500. Striking out only 16% of the time. Machado's the guy this year. I sat around for 10 minutes trying to find someone else, but it's Manny Machado.
And you can't. Like, it was really hard.
Yeah.
Machado's just been that good, and I kind of love it. So, not a ton of parity there. Manny rakes. No parity at shortstop in the NL compared to the AL. Jackson, go ahead, dive into both of our picks here, which is Francisco Lindor.
It was Lindor by a lot. It was always Lindor. Hitting
Hold on. 3 weeks ago, it might not have been, because CJ was hitting .311 and raking, and then he went into that mini slump.
Fair. Lindor's hitting .289, 14 home runs, 3 F4. He's slugging almost 500 from the shortstop position. He's been unbelievable this year. Him and Pete next to each other has been unreal. Once Soto gets going, that lineup's going to be almost borderline unfair.
I agree. And the best part is, quick tangent, we're not going to be too long on this, people. I would like everybody to know that your version of Juan Soto being bad, for all of those who think he's been bad, is a 359 WOBA, which puts him 50 points better than the average Major League player last year. Not that bad, turns out.
I never said
either way.
Like people said he was bad. He's been
Oh,
awesome.
not you.
Yeah.
This wasn't about you. This is just a general statement. The amount of people that I've heard talking bad about Soto is mind-boggling. But hey, baseball.
Quick
Either
shout
way.
out to Mason Wynn, having a great year.
Go ahead, say it again. I cut you off.
Quick shout out to Mason Wynn, 120 WRC plus this year. He's been awesome. Love me some Mason Wynn. I had to shout out my guy.
Listen, he also throws 1 billion miles an hour across the infield. It's fun as hell when he does it. Outfield. I went ahead and I wanted to give us a little like full parody here because it was worthwhile. So we're gonna end up giving you guys 6 guys who probably all could very easily deserve to be on the ballot. I want to leave the Cubs guys for last here, Jackson. So let's hold the Cubs guys.
Okay.
I'm gonna start with James Wood. If you haven't seen what the Nationals' baby bomber has been doing, you should probably pay attention. James Wood is already a top 10 player offensively in the NL. He's already hit 16 home runs. Just so you guys know, his over-under on FanDuel was 18.5 for the year. We all missed out, including myself. Point being, James Wood earned his spot. My other non-Cub, and I wanted to give this guy a little bit of shout-out because he started out slow this year, but has raked of recent, is Elliot Ramos. Ramos has been spectacular for the Giants this year. I have really enjoyed getting to watch what he's done. He's got a 366 WOBA. He's slashing 294, 360, 484. Not the greatest defender, but he's a guy you want in the top 3 of your lineup consistently. Jackson, give your non-Cub real quick.
I got Corbin Carroll. The thing with him this year has been the power. He has 18 home runs. I like to remind you, he's like, what, 5'9"? Not
He's about my height. Yes, sir.
Yeah, you do not have 18 home runs this year.
Shh. Come on.
18 home runs. He's hitting 260, slugging 567 with 3 F4. Corbin Carroll's been unreal at Diamondbacks lineup. They have not lived up to the potential, but he's doing his part plus a little bit more.
Above average defender as well for the most part. I mean, you're talking about a guy who could scoot around the base paths. Corbin Carroll, true 5-tool player.
Absolutely.
Now, this is the fun part. Ladies and gentlemen, if you wanted to vote all Cubs in your outfield, can't judge you. That's how good the Cubs have been.
I almost did it.
I believe you, because guess what? I almost did it. So, not fighting you. Seiya Suzuki, Kyle Tucker, Pete Crow Armstrong has legitimately, without question, been by far the best offensive and defensive outfield in all of baseball.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not saying anything because I don't know what else I can say. Pete Crow has been electric. Kyle Tucker has been just about everything they could have asked for. And the breakout that was always going to happen from Seiya Suzuki has happened. He was the guy who was supposed to hit 3 for the 2023 WBC team for Japan. A team that still beat us in the final game of the whole thing. And they didn't even have him. He's hit 16 home runs this year. Pete Crow's hit 17 home runs. Tucker's hit 12 home runs. Wow. Wow, Jackson. I don't have a ton else to say. They've been impressive out there in Chicago.
Here's all I'm going to say about it.
DH.
As people know.
Go ahead.
No, I'm a Cardinals fan. I still started 2 Cubs in my outfield, and that pained me to do. But my baseball nine knew better that I had to put Pete Crow and Kyle Tucker out there, but they've been unreal this year. Not fun to be in the same division as them. Not fun whatsoever.
No, I would agree. All right, hardest one of the NL. Who'd you have at DH?
I had the guy slugging 635 with 3.2 F4 from the designated hitter position, Mr. Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, I had him too. Yeah. Look. Yeah, that's what I've got for you. Those are all the comments I have on Ohtani. He's exactly who you thought he was. He's exactly who we thought he was. Oh, and by the way, he's going to pitch at some point in time this year, so sick. Very excited to see it. Ohtani is in year in and year out. Unreal. That's why he's an all-world talent. A little bit difficult here on our ad, though. The NL utility spot that we added to this, there was basically 2 names to pick from. So we decided we'd just tell you who both of them are. Jackson, go ahead and tell people who Tim Tawa is, because not even you knew.
Tim Tawa, gotta be honest, did not know who he was until I did research for this. Was an 11th round pick and a 26-year-old rookie. Filled in for Marte at second base, but has played first, second, third, left, center, and right field this year. Hitting 246 home runs, walking almost 10% of the time. I was almost 1 full win. I mean, that's an above average hitter playing 6 positions as a rookie. That is very, very, very tough to do. Filling in for Marte at second base for a little bit, tough shoes to fill. I mean, that he's earned his spot in the big leagues. That's respect to Tim Tawa.
100%. No, Tawa's been awesome. And listen, I got to see him I got to watch a series where he played the Nationals and he hit a home run against us and played 2 different positions. Look, it's not easy to do at the big league level. I went with the other name on the list just to give you guys some parity here, which is one Kike Hernandez. Sure, you're not familiar with that name. 7 home runs on the season. He's played a plethora of positions this year, similar to Tawa. He's got a above league average WOBA of 312 this year, and the power numbers are right around where he would hope they were. He's actually on pace for a similar number to his highest home run season here in LA, which was 2018 when he hit 21 home runs. I do believe in that season, though, he was consistently playing one position, if I remember correctly. We'd have to go back and check the tape, though. Either way, your NL All-Stars for me: Will Smith, Freddie Freeman, Bryce Terang, Manny Machado, Francisco Lindor, James Wood, Seiya Suzuki, Elliot Ramos, Shohei Ohtani, and Kike Hernandez in the utility role.
For me, you got Will Smith, Freddie Freeman, Brendan Donovan, Manny Machado, Francisco Lindor, Pete Crow, Armstrong Corbin Carroll, Kyle Tucker, Shohei Ohtani, and Tim Tawa.
Heck yeah, I love it, man. I don't know. I think these are some pretty good lists. They could change over the next 2 weeks, but right now, they ain't changing. That's for sure. All right, we're gonna go we're gonna fireball through this last portion here. We do want to throw out some names for you guys to pay attention to on the pitching front. First and foremost is going to be the NL. I'm going to go with all 3 of my guys here real quick. Who else is going to start the All-Star game for Ryan other than the one and only Mackenzie Gore? Leading the league in strikeouts, making your favorite hitters look like they forgot how to make contact with the baseball. Mac, you've earned it. Good job. I've also got Logan Webb, who tends to do the same thing to just about everybody with that freaking seam-shifted sinker. Unbelievable. He's had a great year. And then who I felt, and I know you ended up agreeing, was the only option if you had to pick one reliever on the NL side, which was Randy friggin' Rodriguez. He's the kind of guy who just paints Baseball Savant pages red. Stuff's unreal. He's unreal. He's got a friggin' .61 ERA through 29.1 innings. Randy Rodriguez, kudos to you. Jackson, who do you got throwing in the NL?
Got Randy Rodriguez with you. Got Logan Webb with you as well. But I did not get your National than I went with Paul Skeens. He's doing Paul Skeens things, 2.05 ERA, 2.56 FIP. He's been awesome this year. It's Paul Skeensing.
I love it. And Skeens, by the way, if we add yesterday's start in, lowered it down to a 1.88 ERA. He has a 1.2, or he has a 1. Yeah, of course he did, right? He has a 1.12 ERA over his last 7 starts. Jackson, how many wins does he have in his last 7 starts, if you had to guess?
I think I looked at it on Twitter. Was it 2 or 3?
He has 1.
Jacob DeGrom, where are you at? He walks the Paul Skeens to the run.
He did. And Paul Skeens is walking just as fast, unfortunately, is what it really looks like, which stinks. But, yeah, we'll leave that. That's a whole other topic for a whole other day. In the AL, Jackson, tell us who your guys are. I know you got one here that you are very, very excited to remind people of.
The easy pick was Tariq Skubal. He is striking out 11 per 9 and walking less than 1. My closer's Josh Hader, 1.29 ERA has been gross. But my guy, Chris Bubic, 1.43 ERA, 2.44 FIP. He has been unreal this year. We are a Chris Bubic podcast. If you do not like Chris Bubic, I don't know what to say. He's been awesome this year. He's been so much fun to watch. Kind of filling in for Cole Reagans, who's been dealing with some injury concerns this year. Bubic has been absolutely unreal.
Chris, you heard it here first. If you'd like to hang out with us this offseason, let us know. We'd be happy to have you on the pod. We'll make sure Jackson is 100% there as well. Don't you dare worry.
I'll fanboy for sure.
I absolutely also had Tarek Skubal. I don't think it needs much of an explanation. He has arguably been the best pitcher on the planet now for the 2nd season in a row. Skubal's been unbelievable. I'm going to go with Max Fried as my second one. Not only has Fried been unbelievable from a statistical standpoint, but he signed the largest deal ever for a left-handed started pitcher, and he did it in the Bronx. And he's come out, and he's looked like he's worth every single dollar. I truly do not believe that any of us, including myself, know how hard that probably is to do. Kudos to Max Fried. He has not lost a single step, and it's been very impressive. I went with one that is a little bit different, not a closer here, similar to the way Rodriguez, who kind of is turning into a closer, but we'll leave that alone. Cade Smith, one of the four horsemen who I've enjoyed talking about for Cleveland. Smith has had another year of just being dominant. What makes Smith so friggin' impressive is Smith does it with a fastball on a regular basis. He has one of the best fastballs in all of baseball, and yes, he throws a very solid slider, but it is all set up with a fastball that rides anywhere between 15 inches and just under 24 inches, around 23 inches. That amount of ride on your fastball, combined with the fact that he throws it, 97.3 miles an hour. Cade has really earned this one, and this is already him showing us that he is absolutely awesome. So, big fan of Cade Smith across the board. There you go. I got Skubal, Fried, and Cade Smith in the AL. Scudder, you've got Tarek Skubal, Chris Bubik, and Josh Hader. Love it, love it, love it. Dude, good job. Also, shout out, we're going to get it. His debut patch, be looking for it. The Jackson Scudder debut patch will be coming soon to a card shop near you. It's a 1-of-1, probably worth a ton. So, Jackson, great job today. We really appreciate you filling in. You've always done a good job. Thank you from both Evan and I on Baseball and Stitch here. You're part of the family, and we appreciate you. Let's go to closing thoughts here. I know you had somebody you wanted to talk about with certainty.
Jack Cagley on 4-hit day yesterday. I've been on the Cags train for a while. Watched him in Hoover 2 years ago. He's just as big in person as you would think. 4 hits yesterday, exit vehicles of 101, 113, 91, and 104. That's a good day at the office.
Yeah. And the fact that he didn't hit a ball under 95 in his debut and went over,
yeah,
was awesome.
I love this.
Who does that, dude? Who does that?
Let's not forget, he still has 98 in that left arm too. It just sit there right field.
Hanging out, whatever. Listen, if they don't ever throw him, it's gonna be okay, because when he starts Rick Ankeeling everybody, it's gonna awesome. Make our day, and we both know it.
It's gonna be awesome.
Gonna be sick. I, of course, jinxed it, but the Baltimore Orioles were on an 8-0 run since I had stepped into Camden Yards. They did lose last night, so it's not 9, which is really sad. But Baltimore Orioles, not nearly as bad as that. Again, it's another thing doing this. Just baseball, guys. Let's learn levels of patience here. I understand that it's not like they're back in the race by winning 8 in a row, but if they win most of their series to the All-Star break, they're going to be right in the thick of things. It's just how this game works. Teams go on cold streaks. They've got Kowser back. Westberg will be joining the team here shortly. Holiday looks like he's coming into his own. O'Hearn has been one of the biggest boosts that they could ever ask for. And when you start getting some of these guys back in the lineup, the Gunnar Hendersons of the world, and some of these guys are really going to start playing at the level you expect them to play at. So I don't mind where the Orioles are at. Jackson, let's talk about one mistake that I made just for fun. I did just notice that I read everybody Randy Rodriguez's arsenal, not Cade Smith's arsenal right there. So I'm not going to deduct a point for myself because we're not doing that this week. But for anybody who was curious, no, and I felt weird saying it, and that's why I went back and checked. Because Cade Smith doesn't throw a slider, and I knew that, so I was really confused. Four-seam fastball that does ride actually right around the amounts that I told you, thankfully, at 96, splitter that's been pretty devastating, and a sweeper that's been good. But Cade Smith throws his fastball 71% of the time. That's what I got. Anything else, Jackson? You got anything to leave the people on?
Well, good. I appreciate y'all having me on and trusting me with it. Awesome to be here. This was awesome. Got to talk about the draft, which is one of my favorite things to talk about, so I'm here for it.
There will be more draft talk to be had, but past that, people, as always, we appreciate you guys. Enjoy the baseball this week. Enjoy your own week. We will see you on Sunday for the live show this week. Flax will be back from all of his travel. You'll also hopefully get to see Jackson's smiling face as well. But past that, as always, have a great week.